Good morning, folks, and welcome back to the Kaiju Chronicles, the only radio show airing across the Pacific Rim, God knows where else. Seems you got a lot of eyes on this station, a lot of high-level admirers. Word is the UN don't like what we're saying around here. Don't like that we're telling folks the truth about these extraterrestrial life forms. Well, guess what? Today I've got some news that's worth spilling. Because despite what they told us in 2012, this year, the world's really gonna end. Now everyone knows the history by now. Trespasser breached in 2013, Herndon 6 months later, Cabo in 2014, and Sishu in September of that same year. But by July 2015, we actually had a response to these attacks. Massive man-made machines we now know as Jaegers were our ultimate line of defense. In 2018 and 2019, we reached the peak of the Jaeger program's success, and with multiple victories behind us, we actually stood a chance against these creatures. Maybe even win this war, but that's what they wanted us to believe, wasn't it? But we all know what happened next. In February 2020, Knife Head breached and killed one of the most notable pilots of the Jaeger program, Yancey Beckett. God rest his soul. That attack essentially put Gypsy Danger out of commission, and as of last year in 2023, she is now resting in a graveyard known as Oblivion Bay. Hell, Riley Beckett quit the PPDC last month, but they don't want you knowing that, do they? Don't want morale getting too low. While unfortunately for them, I'm about to sink it lower than the damn Titanic, because I've got some news that's gonna shake you to your core. In my hand right now, I have before me multiple top secret dossiers written several months from now. That's right, folks, I got a message from the future. And before you start changing the radio station, no, I am not crazy. No, I have not been taking any of those godforsaken kaiju remedies that Mr. Chow has been selling. I am sane of mind and sound of heart. And I am about to tell you what horrific fate awaits us. Tomorrow, on January 2nd, 2024, a kaiju codenamed SH-24 will attack Shanghai. The city will be defended by Crimson Typhoon, but lives will be lost, folks. A lot of lives. So if you're smart and you live in Shanghai, you'll start packing your bags, or you can ignore me like the many of you did when you thought Trespasser was the last of these creatures and face the consequences. That's not all. The next attack will occur on April 7th, when a kaiju named KM-24 will emerge in the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia. Then on July 5th, Insurrector will attack Santa Monica and destroy the famous pier. Bone Squid will follow on July 30th and attack Port Moresby in Papua New Guinea. Bantal will attack Taipei on August 13th, and Hound will attack Auckland on August 28th, a few days later. On September 14th, Tyrannus will attack Queen Charlotte Sound, though per my information in these documents, it's unsure if this is Canada or New Zealand. Then on September 25th, Arachnid will attack Brisbane and result in the deaths of 4,000 civilians. KC-24 attacks Kuching in Malaysia on October 4th. And if the month wasn't spooky enough, Fiend attacks Acapulco in Mexico on October 31st. Then on November 9th, Tailsplitter will attack Sapporo, followed by Kojiyama, emerging from the Bohai Sea on November 30th. 3 more kaiju will also attack during this year. However, the dates of those attacks haven't been recorded. But make no mistake, folks, they happen. Vodnoy attacks the east coast of Sakhalin Island in Russia, Bermin attacks Medellin in Colombia, and Hudao emerges from the Yellow Sea at some point in 2024. Which means a total of 14 kaiju attacks will happen this year, which is unprecedented even now. But the question remains of how our heroic Jaegers will fare against these attacks. Well, according to these documents, let's just say that Yancey Beckett won't be the last of the fallen. In 2024, we will lose 8 Jaegers. A significant loss in comparison to the previous years, and one that will convince the UN to shut down the Jaeger program, along with most of the Shatter Domes and sell them for profit. The Anchorage Shatter Dome in Alaska will close down on October 12th after the attacks in Malaysia, and be sold to a private buyer along with the Jaeger Academy facilities. The Lima Shatterdome in Peru will follow on October 18th and be sold to the Peruvian government, and the Tokyo Shatterdome will be bought by a private buyer the next day. The Panama City Shatterdome will shut down on November 9th, and Vladivostok Shatterdome on December 11th after it's deeded to the Russians in exchange for landing, refueling, and airspace rights. The Los Angeles Shatterdome shuts down on December 20th and will be incorporated into an anti-kaiju wall that the UN will start building to replace the Jaeger program. A wall that, in the future, is gonna be broken through by a kaiju in minutes. But hey, leave it to the end to come up with the smartest plans, right? But finally, on December 29th, Sydney Shatterdome will close, leaving only the Hong Kong Shatterdome operational. So if you're smart like me, and you have any bit of common sense, you'll start leaving this planet. Maybe even hijack one of them NASA rockets they got lined up for Mars, because Earth is no longer safe for you and I. And I'm not sticking around for what happens next. Oh shit. Oh shit, get off me. Get off me, listen. Whatever happens, don't stay out in the water. Don't stay out in the water.